When out there looking for new home builds, it's important to have the right real estate agent. Today, we're going over several articles in which the home builders are not happy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Real Estate Daily with the House Heroes. My name is Troy, and every day we go over the latest news in real estate, housing, and the mortgage markets. Now, today is going to be a little different. I'm going to go over new home builds. I'm going to go over what an agent does well and what actually the new home builders is happening right now in media, what articles are popping up all over the place that happened today. But before we jump into all of that, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel so much. And then do me a favor, hit that like button. Now, you also can see us in other media platforms, social media platforms, such as TikTok and Instagram. You can look at those links down below. So let's jump right into it. When going out there and looking for a new home build, and a lot of you have over the last 2 or 3 years, it was really slim pickings. You had to wait in line, you had to get pre-approved, all those things that caused a lot of delays and headaches for home buyers. And at a certain point, the home builder said, we don't want you to have real estate agents. So they stopped even paying real estate agents to even represent you. So if you did, you had to pull money out of your own pocket to be represented. And with a 90-page purchase agreement and with so many legalities in it, it was kind of insane for people to actually sign those contracts and then sign 90 pages worth of things they had no clue about. But today, things have changed. And I'm going to go over several different articles here to talk about it. So this is the first one here with my girlfriend, my girlfriend. I got to put it in quotes that she really isn't my girlfriend. Diana Olick, because her boyfriend might beat me up. Home builder sentiment drops 8 points in October. This is really important. I've always said it. Home builders aren't there to build homes because they want the population to live a better life. It's never happened that way. It's only happened about dollars and cents. If they can make profit, then they will absolutely be out there building homes. If there is no profit and there is no significant profit, they won't be building homes. They'll just fold up tent, go home, and wait for those times that'll happen. Now, I've said on many, many occasions that the government should come in and subsidize these companies, meaning maybe give them incentives, cheaper land, because a lot of land is being bought on land that the government owns, things like that, better, more affordable housing. But the builders are not building affordable housing. They only build profitable housing. So let's go take a look at this. If I'm looking in Fontana, and where a lot of builders are at, KB Homes, Lennar, they've been building there now for 3, 4, 5 years. They started in the 400s, and some of them started, in the the high 300s. Today, it's low 500s, and most of them are in the high 500s and the low 600s, 700, 800. This becomes spiraling out of control. Now, I understand that, labor costs have gone up as well as building materials have gone up, but their profits have gone up as well over that time. So now, to reel everything back and to have, home builder sentiment drop 8 points, well, of course, you're not building anymore. And what do you have to do? You have to have slimmer margins, and you're having more fallouts. And now you have to actually have a real estate agent turn around and represent a buyer. Oh my God. It's ridiculous. Okay. Every buyer should be represented, that wants to be represented and not talked into a 90-page purchase agreement. So let's go on the next one. And we're going to stick on the theme. Housing market recession, home builders warn collapse is unsustainable and prices could tumble another 20%. Well, they won't tumble 20% because home builders will stop building. So this is all about home builders. This isn't talking about, already made homes or resell homes. This is about new home builds only. Please separate the difference. You look at media outlets such as CNBC or Forbes, and they're going to give you their spin on the world is collapsing. Okay? The world is not collapsing. Your home values are not collapsing. In fact, it's up 10% year over date, from what you bought it last year or what you owned it from last year. So things are still up on the market. Before we jump in and say we're in a recession, okay, It's because the recession that they're talking about is for new home builders who are mad that they can't make their 20% on homes or 10% or their margins on homes. And then in some areas of the United States, they're not even building at all. But let's stick with the theme. Next article. Home builder sentiment drops to half of what it was 6 months ago. I keep reiterating the same things. Let's go read over the little key points here. It says home builder sentiment in a single family home fell 8 points to 38 in October from previous months. Okay, their starts are a lot slower and a lot less. Builders cite rapidly rising interest rates for the drop in confidence. The confidence is in them making money. It's their confidence, not actually home buyer confidence. Home buyers are still out there. If we take a look at some of the recent open houses that we've done, they are full of buyers. Buyers are coming in. They're a little more pickier right now because interest rates are higher, but they're buying and selling homes right now are still going on. Now, the amount of homes for sale is significantly less because home sellers don't know where to go after they sell a home unless it's out of this state of California. Last bullet point here says the average rate of 30-year fix was more than 7% this week, up 3% at the start of the year. Again, we keep going back to the same thing. It's about interest rates, about interest rates, about interest rates. Hey, home builders, how about buying down the interest rate for your buyer? How about doing that? Instead of giving them $20,000 in, the backyard or incentives that make your properties look a little more sexier, how about buying their rate down to the 4s? We know right now that there are credit unions out there that are in the 4% interest rates. Why not do that? Why not take care of your clients? Do ARMs. You know what? We know that somewhere in the future, we're going to have interest rates drop down probably significantly. Why don't you do an ARM, a 4% ARM for 3, 4, 5 years? Some of these people won't even live in the home for that long. Others will see the opportunity to refinance. But home builders would rather sit there and cry and spill milk because they didn't make enough money and it's not worth building. All right, our last article before we get into our interest rates said homeowners become landlords to retain record low mortgage rates. Well, let's go look at this graph here. I'm not really a Redfin fan. Redfin is extremely small part of our industry. It's less than 10%. Yet when they put out these graphs, if it's in a narrative that somebody wants, they utilize it. This says asking rents up 9% year over year in September. Now, they're saying that it was at 18% sometime in April, May, and then it's dropped down to about 9% right now. They're saying that rents are going down, and some of the things they cite are ridiculous. It says scores of apartments that have been under construction now are hitting the market, and homeowners choose to become landlords instead of selling in order to hold onto their record low mortgage rates. All I know is that anyone that I know that puts their home or their property up for rent are getting so many inquiries. You get to pick and choose from them. It is hard to find, quality renters out there. So the quality renters get into homes first, into rentals first, and then it's the rest of the people. This is, scores of apartments that have been under construction. Why don't we make those into condos and make it where you can buy them? Why are we trying to construct, condominium or apartment complexes? Doesn't make any sense to me. A lot of those, where are they at? They're in high-end areas such as downtown Los Angeles. And who as a landlord wants to actually be in downtown LA when they freeze rents? And so I'm going to go into the next little part of this article, which I think is just a bunch of crap. If you look on the bottom here, it says metro area rents declining year over year. Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Baltimore, Houston, and Chicago. What do they all have in common, guys? They have rent control. They're controlling rent. I'm surprised Los Angeles is on here because Los Angeles, it hasn't declined because you can't even raise rents in the last 36 months. So if you can't raise rents, it can't decline. These are in decline because we're having rent controls, restrictions on these so heavily regulated by the cities and by these, by these mayors and by these, housing committees. They want to make sure that they're about votes and not really about who owns the property and about renters. So then you turn around and you see all these places get run down and people live in substandard conditions. This is not the way to do it. The free market has always been it's been the mark of what we've done in the United States for year over year, decade over decade, century over century. But when you allow people, you allow committees, the housing department to come in and go ahead and freeze rents, or not allowed to charge anything above, have substandard levels go up. This has nothing to do with the housing market. This has to do with who wants to be reelected. That's what it's about. That's why I laugh at these declining rents. Well, and also, of course, we can also say that that might be true in some of these areas because nobody wants to live in areas where the police are disappearing and crime is going through the roof. Do you want to live in that area? I don't. Why don't we put this up against, the major crime cities in the United States? Last article here is obviously the interest rates that we go over every day. 30-year conforming is flat. We're looking at 15-year conforming went down, 16 points. But still, who wants to do a 15-year when a 30-year is sitting there, less than a point away from each other? This is ridiculous numbers. And then the FHA just bumped up a little bit, 3 basis points. We're going to see this kind of stay in this range now for a while. I'm still expecting it to go down a little bit. And then right after the election or midterms, I'm looking at it to jet up. I think that all hell's going to break loose in the 90 days after the elections. I just think that everything's been held back. And so if I'm looking at the homes, right now, I'm going to see more and more flippers disappear off the market. Number one. Number two, sellers pull their homes off the market because there's nowhere to go, and it's the cheapest way. It's the cheapest way to make housing payments is to pay your house versus go rent. And I see rentals go up. I'm seeing rentals go up. All I know is, a lot of my rentals are under market. And the second anyone leaves out of my rentals, I'm raising rents. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's anyone that I know that has rentals are in the same boat I am in, because there's too many people that apply. Every single time I put a for rent sign up, I have immediately 20 inquiries a day at least. It's out of control. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate it. If you have any comments, leave down below, but definitely check us out on our other social media platforms. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those are available. We put on tips and tricks about the real estate industry. We go over how we sell homes, when you go look at a home, what are you looking for when you actually go with a real estate agent and you enter a home? Are you looking for the plumbing and electrical and the roof and AC? Those are the important things. Or are you really just looking at the kitchen and whether they upgraded the countertops or not? Because that is very pleasing, but you can do that yourself. But the major issues of a property you need to address when you walk into a home every single time, and you need to find a real estate agent that absolutely has that knowledge and somewhat of a construction background. Well, thank you guys again very much. Peace. I will see you tomorrow.